Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire. नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतिरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादिपाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Third canto, 30 chapter, verse 10. अर्थेरापादितेर्गुर्व्या हिंसयेतस्ततश्च तान् पुष्णाति येषां पोषेण एष भुग्यात्यधः स्वयम्. He secures money by committing violence here and there, and although he employs it in the service of his family, he himself eats only a little portion of the food that's purchased, and he goes to hell for those for whom he earned the money in such a irregular way. So if somebody earns money for their family in a irregular way, that person definitely has to suffer. Of course, even the family suffers because they're also being part of the sinful act, but the person definitely suffers. There's a Bengali proverb: the person for whom I have stolen accuses me of being a thief. The family members for whom an attached person acts in so many criminal ways are never satisfied. Family members are never satisfied. In illusion, an attached person serves such family members, and by serving them, he is destined to enter into a hellish condition of life. For example, a thief steals something to maintain his family and is caught and imprisoned. This is the sum and substance of material existence and attachment to material society, friendship, and love. Meaning, not that we have to actually end up becoming a thief, but this is the sum and substance that we have to be caught and imprisoned by Maya. For whom one who is attached to society, friendship, and love. Although an attached family man is always engaged in getting money by hook or by crook for the maintenance of his family, he cannot enjoy more than what he could consume even without such criminal activities. So whatever he can consume is same, irrespective of whether he earns through proper means or improper means. A man who eats 8 ounces of foodstuff may have to maintain a big family and earn money by any means to support that family. But he himself is not offered more than what he can eat. And sometimes he eats the remnants that are left after his family members are fed. Especially when people are struggling to make both ends meet. They'll have to eat whatever is left. Even by earning money by unfair means, he cannot enjoy life for himself. This is called covering illusion of Maya. The process of illusory service to society, country, and community is exactly the same everywhere. The same principle is applicable even to big national leaders. National leader who is very great in serving his country is sometimes killed by his countrymen because of irregular service. In other words, one cannot satisfy his dependents by this illusory service, although one cannot get out of the service because servant is his constitutional position. One cannot satisfy dependents. The only way one can get satisfied is when one engages in the service of Krishna. And that too when one engages in the service of Krishna selflessly, not for recognition, just to please Guru and Krishna. When one engages, only then that person can actually achieve happiness, satisfaction. Actually, it's very disturbing. I see so many devotees so dissatisfied. All material considerations, only material considerations. Even with in terms of dealings among devotees, somebody said this, somebody said that, somebody did this, somebody did that. Devotional service means we have to give up all this, our false ego, our expectation from this world. It's not a perfect world. We should understand and accept that. Prabhupada actually only used to see the service mindedness people. But if somebody is insincere, he never used to like it. And he doesn't never used to like all this politics and this. He said you should be simple. Should be simple. Devotee must be simple. The living entity is constitutionally part and parcel of the Supreme Being, but he forgets that he has to render service to the Supreme Being and diverts his attention to serving others. This is called Maya. So we should not divert our attention to serving others. By serving the Supreme Being, others also get served. For example, in the house is Krishna, so we are serving Krishna, and for a part of serving Krishna is to offer him nice bhoga, and by that we are serving the other members in the family also, prasadam, right? So, but we should not divert our attention and try to serve other members. Of course, I mean, in all this, some discretion, some just judgment has to be done, but this general guidance. By serving others, he falsely thinks he is master. The head of a family thinks of himself as the master of the family, or the leader of a nation thinks of himself as the master of the nation. Whereas actually he is serving, and by serving Maya, he is gradually going to hell. Mm, it's true for everybody, and more so for big leaders. Big leaders, whether it is uh, whatever, whether it is India or America, or doesn't matter. Everywhere, it's a very dangerous position. In general, being a leader is a very difficult position. So many expectations. Therefore, a sane man should come to the point of Krishna consciousness and engage in the service of the Supreme Lord, applying his whole life, all of his wealth, his entire intelligence, and his full power of speaking. The Prabhupada is summarizing Krishna consciousness for us. Hmm. So we have to engage in service of Supreme Lord. How? By applying our whole life, all of our wealth, our entire intelligence. Not that we use some intelligence for some non-Krishna conscious thing. No, Prabhupada is saying use full intelligence for Krishna. And full power of speaking for Krishna. Of course, again, I'm just clarifying. Full intelligence means those grostas working using their intelligence in some other activity, just like Arjuna was using his intelligence for in the battle. That didn't mean that he was not in the service of Krishna. As long as that activity is being done for the pleasure of Krishna, then that entire intelligence is actually engaged in serving Krishna. Mm. So it should not be aimed towards sense gratification. कामस्य नेन्द्रियप्रीतिर्जीवो लाभो जीवेत यावता जीवस्य तत्त्वजिज्ञासा नार्थोर यश्चेह कर्मिभिः. Canto 1, Bhagavatam, saying that one who works, the idea of work is not sense gratification, is not kama. We should only desire self-preservation. That's what Bhagavatam says. We should not work for artha. Even if we work for artha, that artha should not be used for kama, for sense gratification. And we should just desire self-preservation. This is the guidance of Bhagavatam with respect to occupational duty. And if this is not followed, it is just an entanglement. If we work for artha, first thing, that is the first violation. Second, if we use artha for kama, second violation. So it will not make us happy. So we should work. That is our Dharma, kartavya. We should earn money also, but we should not work for earning money. Whatever money comes, we should not use it for sense gratification. We should use it for Krishna's service. Then our whole life becomes applied to Krishna. Then we engage in service of Supreme Lord all the time. Always we have to remember, it's not like Arjuna was sitting there and chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra on the battlefield, right? So, battlefield, we are on this battlefield of this material world, family, responsibilities, etc. But we go on fully Krishna conscious. Mm. And of course, we should avoid those occupations which are directly or indirectly committing violence. Of course, everything indirectly is committing violence, but at least it should not be very gross. For example, somebody is engaged in some software company. They're developing software. Don't know for what it is being used. If it is being used for destructive purposes, for uh, you know, cheating people, etc., we have to be careful that we don't engage in such jobs. We should engage in more as much sattvic a profession as possible. Mm. At least it should not be cheating, should not be adharma, vikarma. And to the extent that we will get engaged, we will have to suffer. We have to go to hell for that. वार्तायां लुप्यमानायाम् आरब्धायां पुनः पुनः लोभाभिभूतनिःसत्त्वः pararthe kurute spraham. When he suffers reverses in his occupation, he tries and again to improve himself. But when he is baffled in all attempts and is ruined, he accepts money from others because of excessive greed. Uh, So this happens to people because of their karma phala. They face reverses in their occupation. They lose their job, etc., etc. And they try again and again to improve. But again, baffled, all attempts fail. Then he ends up accepting money from others. Why? Because of excessive greed. Kutumba varana kalpo mandabhagyo vritodyamah priya vihina kripano dhyayan shvasiti mudadihi. Thus the unfortunate man, unsuccessful in maintaining his family members, is bereft of all beauty. He always thinks of his failure, grieving very deeply. If somebody is always in unhappy, then he lose beauty also. In his There is no energy in his face, and if he looks down, एवं सवर्णा कल्पं तत्कलत्रादयस्तथा नाद्रियन्ते यथा पूर्वं हीनाशा इव गोचरम्. Seeing him unable to support them, his wife and others do not treat him with the same respect as before. Mm. This all men face this. Even as miserly farmers do not accord the same treatment to their old and worn out oxen. A man who earns during his whole life then becomes a old and worn out oxen, useless. Not only in the present age, but for time immemorial. No one has liked an old man who is unable to earn in the family. Even in the modern age, in some communities or states, the old men are given poison so that they will die as soon as possible. In some cannibalistic communities, the old grandfather is sportingly killed and a feast is held in which his body is eaten. The example is given that a farmer does not like an old bull who has ceased to work. Similarly, when an attached person in family life becomes old and is unable to earn, he is no longer liked by his wife, sons, daughters, and other kinsmen, and is consequently neglected. What to speak of not being given respect? It is judicious, therefore, to give up family attachment before one attains old age and take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And this is the reason why actually Shastra prescribes Varnashrama, that one enters Vanaprastha when he is fit only. When one is fit, one should enter Vanaprastha because then they will learn to live independently, not depend on other people because they take shelter of the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, till the last moment of our life, we are just dependent on others, and yeah, I mean, it's a pain. Clearly, it's a pain. Youngsters don't have time, and then they have to find time to take care of their parents, take them to hospital, doctor, this, that, and all that. Not everybody does it happily. Everybody's busy. So we should give up this family attachment and stay by ourselves, depending on on Supreme Lord. One should employ himself in the Lord's service so that the Supreme Lord can take charge of him. Mm. And he will not be neglected by so-called kinsmen. So if you are engaged in the service of the Lord, then anyway devotees only will be there for us. If we have spent our life nicely, training devotees, teaching devotees, preaching the mission, etc., at the end of that, all those devotees whose life we have touched, they will come and take care of us. As we see in so many uh, Maharats, in ISKCON, all their disciples, well-wishers, etc., everybody take care of them when they are not able to do things by themselves. So Krishna conscious family is what we need to build. The so-called family, they won't have any value for us, useless. But materially, as one grows old, he becomes useless. Spiritually, as one grows old, he becomes more and more valuable. Because of his experience in Krishna consciousness, maturity in Krishna consciousness, advancement in Krishna consciousness. So he or she becomes more valuable. Mm. So that is so these things we have to understand. Mm. But today what we do, we depend so much on our family and we hardly have built any good devotee relations. And then who will come? Who will come to us? Like I was thinking the other day, when devotees leave their body. Uh, no, I keep thinking, okay, the day when I leave my body, will somebody say anything good about me? Or will somebody just say that, okay, thank God, no more trouble, right? We have to live our life like that. If devotees are pleased, Krishna is pleased. If need no devotee even bothers, I mean, he doesn't even remember. One day, that's it, forgotten. Oh, okay, yeah, somebody passed away. Okay. So that only will happen when we dedicate our life to the service of other devotees, dedicate our life to the mission. Yes, we have to have family life. That is Grihastha Dharma. We have to finish off. It's not something to be very happy about. It's just a unfortunate thing that we had to enter Grihastha Ashram. So we entered Grihastha Ashram and we finish it off. We do the responsibility, take care of things properly and close. By that time, both husband and wife should have become matured enough in Krishna consciousness to give up all this and then live dependent on the Lord. This is expected. And that way the consciousness will be clear. I mean, I keep thinking that even though I don't want, I cannot avoid. There's so many things that I have to anyway deal with day in and day out, whether I like it or not. But fortunate, those who enter Vanaprastha, they don't have to take care of all that. There's somebody else who's taking care of it. And our head is light. No, it's not getting used up for useless things. Useless because they're all temporary and they're just part of our responsibility and our responsibility is over. It's very important actually. Devotees take this transition from Grihastha to Vanaprastha. We should take it seriously. At least, those who are closely getting there. Mm, For many of you, maybe there are many years ahead. At least for few of us, definitely. We are getting closer, and we should plan this. We should not get stuck. And I mean, really, I've never seen anybody really happy in their old age with their family. Something or the other will not be happy about. Nobody is happy. Rather, we can be fully happy in Krishna's service, depending on Krishna and in the association of other devotees. Such a blissful thing. तत्राप्यजात निर्वेदो म्रियमाणः स्वयं भृतैः चरयोपात्तवैरोप्य maranaabhimukho grihe. The foolish family man does not become averse. See, he does not become averse to family life, although he is maintained by those whom he once maintained. So we'll be maintained by our children. This is foolish. Deformed by the influence of old age, he prepares himself to meet ultimate death. One should prepare oneself. Actually, today, nobody, this even, that is why Prabhupada said we are the art of dying. We have to prepare ourselves. But unfortunately, everybody is trying to just settle down. Everybody is just trying to settle down. Okay, maybe a little more effort. Maybe this will get fixed. Maybe that will get fixed. When is the preparation going to start? We have to start preparing to meet Krishna in the form of death. Family attraction is so strong that even if one is neglected by family members in his old age, he cannot give a family affection. And he remains at home just like a dog. So sad. Such a sad description. Remains at home just like a dog. People might say, no, 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 this is not how we take care of elders. But this is what the reality is. See, for most people, when they are in charge, they are thinking, they are taking decisions, etc. Then subsequently, somebody else comes in charge in the house. They take decisions. Then we have to take a back step. We have to take a back step, right? And we have to let them. And then we'll keep seeing their decisions and say, if I were there, I wouldn't have done like this. And we can't keep quiet. We'll go and tell them, no, you don't do this, do like this. He'll say, no, I know what to do. And then they'll feel bad. Oh, nobody is listening to me. Nobody is taking my advice. So this is like a neglected situation. So Prabhupada is writing, it's like a dog's life. Hmm. The Vedic way of life, one has to give up family life. See, when he's strong enough, is what I was saying. When we are strong enough, fit enough, we should give up family life. It is advised that before getting too weak and being baffled in material activities, because once we become physically weak, mentally also we'll become weak. We'll think, oh, no, no, I can't stay without them. I'm dependent on them. So Prabhupada is advising that before getting too weak, mentally, physically, because when we become mentally and physically weak, we become baffled in material activities. Everything becomes a big problem. Uh, Going from one place to another is a big problem. Going to the washroom is a big problem. This is a big problem. That is a big problem. Old age. So Prabhupada is saying before becoming deceased, everybody will become deceased. Only very few fortunate jivas will leave their body without being deceased. Before becoming deceased, one should give up family life and engage oneself completely in the service of the Lord for the remaining days of his life. Of course, if somebody is there in a family also cut off. Of course, Prabhupada says in one lecture here, Mrs. Sharma is here, some saying somewhere in US, London, I think. Mrs. Sharma, we are very happy that she is now serving full time here in the temple. But still, her family is not ready to leave her. She served them all her life, but still they are saying, no, no, you still have to serve. They are not satisfied. Even if we don't want, our family would want us to. We'll become ayah in the house and taking care of children, grandchildren, taking care of the house when nobody is at home. What is this? useless dog service. So one should completely engage themselves in the service of the Lord for the remaining days of their life, not doing useless activities, material activities. Therefore, it is enjoined in the Vedic scriptures that as soon as one passes 50 years of age, he must give up family life and live alone in the forest. Of course, for us, living alone in the forest is living in Vrindavan, meaning engaging in the service of the Lord. See, very clearly, I wonder why devotees don't pay attention to such clear instructions, guidance, and then they have so much difficulty. It's very simple. Grihastha life has to be given up. Simple rule. And then we have to prepare ourselves to meet death. After preparing himself fully, he should become a sannyasi to distribute the knowledge of spiritual life to each and every home. For men, if not possible, at least we should prepare for ultimate death, which means we should increase our Krishna consciousness, go deeper, get into we should be able to naturally meditate on Lord's form, pastimes, etc. Continuously chanting Hare Krishna. Tears should be flowing from our eyes all the time. This is the state we have to reach. Otherwise, we're just dying like cats and dogs. And this is the reality. Everybody will go through this. Everybody will go through disease. And we should not think, oh, who will take care of me if I'm not there with family? That means that we don't have faith in Krishna. What Krishna does, very simple. If we are dependent on our family life, he will leave us to be dependent on them. And then we'll go through whatever trouble, etc. But if you're dependent on Krishna and we don't have anybody else, he will take care of it. He will make sure that we don't create trouble for others. So he'll take care of us in a nice way. So that we don't disturb, because then we are with devotees and we don't want to disturb other devotees. So Krishna will make sure that such inconveniences are not caused at all in the first place. Of course, it totally depends on our surrender. If husband and wife both are Krishna consciousness, that is good enough support. Right? And that is the reason why if we engage our life in serving other devotees, preaching, etc., then we will have not, like Prabhupada said, in my old age, I gave up one family, now I have so many sons and daughters. Then we will have so many people, so many families, so many loved ones who are all Krishna conscious and are taking and will be very happy to take care of us. So this is how we have to live life. So this whole chapter is very, very actually eye-opening. How people are so blindly stuck in family life and what we should really be doing, what our focus needs to be. Okay, I'm stopping here. Are there any questions, comments? Please feel free. Okay, nothing. There's nothing, then we'll conclude. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagatguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa
दीदी वापिस आती तो छुट्टी नहीं थी ना वैष्णव पे के कार पे
अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय, जगतगुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्ण।
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण।